Hey everybody, it's Courtney Atkinson here from the Dooryard Union. This is the weekly show on Wednesdays at 5:30 where I get to interview badass entrepreneurs and talk to them about their journeys, their stories, and go deep on where they've been, what they've been up to, and where they're going. And my guest tonight is Dries van der Westhuizen from the Hive co-working space, just upstairs from my office. Dries, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How did I do in your name?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it's not an easy one. That last name's a little bit of a tongue twister, but yeah, well done.
Yeah, it's good. We were just chatting about that. It's like House from the West?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's the direct translation from, like Vander is from the Westhuizen is West House. So
Cool.
I think that's pretty much what it is.
I can relate to that being in real estate, so awesome.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here, man. So I've come to know you a little bit over the last, couple of years, maybe, something like that. We have some mutual friends in common, some mutual entrepreneur friends in common, and you've been doing some really cool stuff. You own the Hive co-working space just upstairs, and you're into a bunch of other really cool things, some stuff that I don't even think I was aware of before. So why don't you talk to us a bit about Hive, and then I'd like to get to your backstory, because that stuff's really cool to me too. So why don't you tell us about the Hive first?
Yeah, sure. So Hive is a really big open plan co-working space where my whole vision for it was for people to come and work together in the space, and not having like cubicles where you can rent a private desk, or that like what would make any benefit from that, like sitting with other creatives.
Mm-hmm.
Is usually that's what I was going for, and yeah, that's basically my biggest vision for it, is for getting creatives together, and not just creatives, but any people who want to work with like-minded individuals that doesn't have that. It's difficult for me. I'm a freelancer. I've been a freelancer for a bit, and it's difficult going out and engaging the same type of people, like video editing or photography or graphic design or whatever. Getting to know that community and being like, hey, so I do a little bit of photos, I do a little bit of graphics, and this guy might do a little bit of 3D video.
Mm-hmm.
Getting them together and working, and like I said, not all just creators, but that's the package I wanted to create.
Yeah, that's the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Cool. So how's it been? So you've been open for how long now?
Yeah, it's just I think yesterday, just like a month now.
Yeah.
And it's been great. We have some regulars that come in, and I usually do a free Friday, every Friday, where we have lots of guys coming, and it's great. From the beginning I said I'd rather get the community together in the beginning, and then later on starting okay, guys, this is now, you have to pay a monthly now to get in.
It's like charging your buddies to come over for beers eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually you're going to get all of them there, and they're going to bring all their friends, but then their friends have to pay. So, it's been good. It's lots of events and private function stuff also. So, yeah. And I'm more than happy to open up the space. It's an amazing space for the community for anyone to book it, basically.
It's cool from my perspective, because we're in a position now, as you know, where we've had a delay on our building construction, and you're right upstairs, and so we're gonna leverage the relationship that we have and rent some space as well. If you haven't seen it online, or if you haven't seen it in person, you should go check it out. It's super awesome, but it does have that feel, just kind of a collaborative vibe, and it's just really contemporary, but in an old style building, right? Like a really welcoming place. So I just want to talk about that. How did you come up with the design? Because you really, I think, leveraged that vision that you have into the aesthetic. So how did you do that?
Yeah, so I had a lot of help with some friends and stuff, and the main thing was when the guys took me up to the building and we got upstairs, it was a normal door that just opened into this space that was just drywall and a drop ceiling. You felt like, oh my goodness,
and super old school looking.
Yeah,
too.
very, very old school. So the first thing everyone is like, dude, you should open this doorway, make it big. And I'm like, it's just this extra money, extra whatever. And we eventually opened it. That was the first thing we broke open. I was like, well, definitely, that's amazing. And that space coming in, ripping everything out, because when you walked in, you could only see 2 of those big windows, and I wanted to see all of them. But I also knew I had to do 2 little offices, because I wanted to have private offices for rent. And we try to open it as much as we can. Like obviously our boardrooms, that's why we did the boardroom with a glass wall.
Yeah.
But you can still see the light. That's all I wanted. Like it's bringing in as much light as we can.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of photographers in Lethbridge, and they're always looking for a cool spot for like, especially with exposed brick wall that they want to shoot in. Like I take photos myself, and that's amazing space for doing that. So that was my big vision, is having it as an open space. Like I said before, I didn't want cubic, like closed spaces. It has to be open, my whole thing. And then, like the design, I'm a graphic designer, so I have a little bit of I think a design, little bit of wiseness there. So that's how I get into it.
It stands to reason that it would turn out pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super bright, and it looks really, really new, and it's a lot about what we're hoping that our new space is going to look like, actually. So maybe I have to talk to you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not lifting a hammer again for next year. So.
Yeah, you've had enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it seemed like it was like a pretty hefty renovation. You guys had to do floors and walls and lights.
Yeah, geez, I still need to apologize for you in public for that floor. I mean, we sanded that thing. It was noisy where we were. So the floor took us, with some good friends, about, I know the one day we spent 18 hours straight just sanding.
Seriously?
And half of the floor was, so it was glued down subfloor. So, but it was chipboard. It wasn't old, like new type of style.
Pull all the staples out.
So when you pull it off, all where the glue was, there was a line of. So that took us, like, we chiseled out that like evenings after evening after evening. But I mean, the result is worth it.
The result is phenomenal.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But the rest of the stuff was mostly like just demoing. Like we just took everything out. That was the big thing. We actually put way less in that we took out.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. No, it's a really clean looking space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and an inviting space and a collaborative space. So I'm excited to see it evolve. And small pitch, we're doing what we're calling the Sugar Plum Donation Celebration. Thanks to Dries donating his space for that. That's coming up this Saturday, right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's
I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, we are too. We're inviting the public to come out and donate cash, or what is it, Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
And or food for our communities less fortunate. There's like 5 charities involved. Between 1 and 4, Santa's going to be there. Our friend Michael from Bread, Milk and Honey, he's been on the show before too. Is going to supply treats for mums and dads and kids and Santa too. So yeah, we're looking forward to giving back to the community this Saturday. So thanks, Dries, for doing that.
Yeah, no worries.
So you're into a bunch of other cool stuff too, and you've come from a different country, and you've had a whole life and skill set there, and you've transferred a lot of those skill sets here. So let's talk about the old days in the old world, man. So
yeah, the old world.
Yeah, so tell us what you got up to before you moved to Canada. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, so I grew up in South Africa. I've been there my whole life until moving here, and we're just been just over 3 years now. Grew up in a city similar size to Lethbridge, and then moved all over the country. My dad was in construction, so moved around a lot. Ended up in Cape Town, which is pretty huge. Studied back in this. Eventually went back to the small town when I grew up with, and studied graphic design and photography. And moved to Cape Town right after that. Worked at a publishing house for about 8-9 years. Did everything from advertising, like design, logos, video, whatever you can name design, we did it.
You gotta tell more about that story, because you shared with me before the show, so it's redundant for me, but you gotta share with our viewers that journey, because that sounded like a pretty crazy place, but also like a good place to learn. So
absolutely. That company it was called Koza Media. I worked there for I was on and off there also. I got married, moved back to Bloemfontein, which was this town. They call it the city, I call it a town. But I moved back, and I always ended up back at this company. The guy who worked there, really great guy, my boss. It was a small company, and I could understand. We started wanting to do, for example, we decided, okay, video is the next thing, which turned out to be the actual next thing. And so we were like, well, we're not going to hire someone to do the thing. And he told me, like, dude, you need to learn this, and you need to. I'm like, okay, well, I can take a video with a camera. I said, no, but you need to edit it, and we need to do it in front of a green screen. I remember one day driving around Cape Town looking for like green paint, like a green wall, and I Chroma. I think it was called Chroma Key.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found a film house that sold them by the bucket. So we
Really?
bought some and we just painted a wall. We did green screen. We started doing interviews for companies.
What year was this?
This was about, say, 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was just like one of the things. And then then apps came about. We started doing all our magazines that we published. We started converting them to like mobile apps.
Yeah.
We added like video to that. So the company grew from being 4 or 5 people when I got there to be like 30 something in a very short time. And then eventually I left and I started my own graphic design company with my brother-in-law and his then girlfriend, which then became fiance and now wife. So we had some great clients and great products, and then we decided to move to Canada.
Yeah.
My wife is a physician, so we just decided like for her it's greater opportunity working here than back there. So we moved and we're super happy. We were gonna end up like we couldn't choose because cities like Lethbridge, so I think we were gonna end up in Medicine Hat, and we did move there for 3 months. So loved it. But then we eventually ended up here because we had friends here, and happy ever since.
Yeah, that's cool. So going back to those times, talk to me a bit about the skill sets that you picked up that you've been applying and that have helped you in this journey. So you talked about graphic design, you talked about layout. You mentioned before, doing newsletters and mailers, that sort of thing. That's a pretty diverse skill set. You even talked about some web work too. I mean, that's like all over the map.
So when I studied, it was a 3-year course in graphic design. I was one of I think me and another guy out of a class, we were small, it was like a private little design college. Me and another guy, we were the only 2 that you could either choose like desktop publishing, which is print, or you could choose multimedia, which is more web, 3D and video and photography and that kind of thing. I think me and another guy was the only 2 guys who took both.
Yeah.
So you had either, if you did desktop publishing, you had class from 8 to 12 or 1, and then you would leave and go and work on your projects, and then the multimedia guys would come in like from 1 to say 5 o'clock. So me and that guy was only 2. We were the all day. So I would just go home for lunch, and then this guy, I think he dropped out halfway through. So I was the only guy for the rest of the time. But I always knew I wanted to do more than just graphic. I love photography. I like technology. It's my thing. And so I ended up doing that, and then I started off, my first job for like a few months was at a signage company. So then I picked up skills from vinyl cutting. We did neon signs. We did a lot of like 3D stuff that needed to be built. So we designed it, but guys would build it in the warehouse. So then I picked up some vinyl cutting. So I can still, I do a lot of companies, they were like, but can you get me some vinyl cutouts? I'm like, of course. I still remember doing that, so I know exactly how to do it. So that's when I picked that up. Then at this publishing house, never did magazines, but we always did when we studied, we did some some layouts and stuff. I mean, I was familiar with it. And then they got thrown into the deep end, and they said, here's a 28-page magazine, lay it out. Like, just go. In like 4 days or whatever. Usually. No, not that crazy, but it was tight deadlines, I must say. And then, then electronic newsletters became a big thing. I just had to learn. Then with some of my web background, I mean, we did everything in HTML, so I could do that.
You code the newsletters.
Then design that, then made like HTML templates. Then we started the video, like I mentioned. I had to learn that. They sent me all over for events to take all the company photos, so I had to do photography. So at the end, basically, jack of all trades, master of none.
Wow. So, I wouldn't say that. So tell me about the lead conversion. So were those just branded pieces meant for just general consumption, or was there calls to action and then links to squeeze pages, or did you have to do any of the back end work tying those forms and stuff into websites, or was that not the intent?
With the newsletters.
Yeah.
So the newsletters. So with the publishing, we would always do the magazines and have a website version of the story also, which also subscription based. So we would send out newsletters with 5 snippets of those stories, and that would push them to the website, and if they want to read more, subscribe. So it was less obviously than the magazine that they didn't subscribe with. But I mean, the magazines it wasn't like it was subscription based, but it was also very ad heavy. Like it was ad based, like in any magazine, ads pay for the mag. So but I mean, that website that the story went to, yours truly had to build the website
Really?
as well. So yeah, that's where. But that's basically how I got all my skills, was being thrown in the deep end, and I still use all of them today. So it's great, actually.
Well, that's why I asked, because so much of what we do, I think, in successful businesses, mine and yours, you know, you put these skills together that you've cobbled of like fear and panic in the 11th hour of needing to have something done, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whether it's for yourself or for a boss, man, it's like, boom, this stuff has to happen. And you know what? At midnight on a Thursday, there's nobody you can call. You got Google, you got YouTube, and you better figure it out.
Yeah, you got to figure it out. I mean, if you wanted to work at the end, then just do it. I mean, there's gonna be obstacles, but once you're over, like, then you that lesson you can take with you all, like, your rest of your life, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially skills like that. So.
Well, and it's the ability to be able to problem solve under pressure, right? I mean, you're trying to solve, like, business problems on the fly. These have the ability to impact your job or your income or your success of your business. Like, you got to figure this stuff out, right? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I always, like, when we we would appoint, like, younger guys to work, and then we would look at their portfolios, and then they usually supply you with all the resumes, all the awards that they've won or been entered to and stuff like that. But I mean, once that guy starts, you can literally see in one day, like, okay, this guy he wasn't talking, like, you can only see that in his work, and all that comes from experience.
Yeah.
You can't buy experience. Like, you can watch 20 YouTube videos, and they're great. I've watched a lot of YouTube. Like, we've just started, like, some 3D printing and stuff now. I actually have the printer there at Hive now for Free Friday. I don't know any 3D printing, but I watched some videos, and now I can 3D print. But also trial and error. When people would give up, just go for it. Just do it.
When you see these people that that come in presenting themselves as pros in areas, when you say that they don't have the skills, do you mean that maybe they're not diverse and they don't have the ability to problem solve across multiple platforms or more complex, robust problems?
No, I just think that they wouldn't have the experience or wouldn't have dealt with the problem to be solved. So they would come in and you give them a project, and they've done it at school, or they've done it but they've never had someone, or he's never made the mistake to see that where to solve it. Then
or some crazy maniacal overlord employer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, never had a boss that screams at you like, where is it? It should have been done yesterday. So yeah, I mean, fair enough. Everyone has to start with I mean, I'm still learning every single day. But I don't know. Some people, I think, have, like, a lot of confidence in themselves where they shouldn't have. So I think a lot of people doesn't have. Where they should have. So that's what I was.
It's funny. I was saying that to somebody today. We were talking a bit about technology and learning and growth, and I can give examples of yesterday and today of things that I've learned that I'll apply in the future. Right? I mean, if you're not doing stuff like that, if you're not considering where you were before and where you're going and what you can pick up from the people that you're engaging with, we risk being one of those dinosaurs that we joke about, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true. And you're into some other cool stuff too. So I know about another company that you have that, sorts out, businesses like the buildings, I should say, the one that I'm building. So talk a bit about Career. I'm curious.
Yeah, Career. Me and two other good friends. Me and Kenny are really good friends, and I met a guy. He works for you actually now. So he and me, we all had an idea of we wanted to do something cool, like something new, start a business up straight from the ground. And then we started Career, which is like no one wants to drive up to Calgary to IKEA to go buy IKEA and then come home and then still assemble it. Like, no one wants to do that. So we started a company that basically do that for you. So you give me your list, we'll go buy it for you, and we'll deliver it. And everyone, that's been like a great success. People are loving that. Because, I mean, even though they are there and they're like, yeah, cool, we'll just get it ourselves, it usually doesn't fit in their cars or in their trucks, or they have to go borrow a truck and then bring it down. And IKEA do deliver, but it's a hassle. Like, it's so expensive, takes so long. So we try to make it as affordable as possible. And then we offer like full kitchen installs, full kitchen designs. So it's been great. Like the response from Lethbridge has been really good. I mean, we did some we did the trade show here, and then we did one in Medicine Hat, and we've done tons of deliveries in Medicine Hat, even on some farms between Medicine Hat and Lethbridge. Yeah, so the guys were like, yeah, we never go there, but we always want the stuff.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, yeah, we'll just pick it up and bring it to your house.
So how have you been leveraging the brand? You know, where do you market to that niche? You know.
Yeah, so all three of us have every daily other things to do. So we haven't we've advertised in the magazine. We did some radio ads, and then our biggest things from the home and garden show. People were still like, oh yeah, we've met you there. We just did a delivery, I think yesterday in Medicine Hat, where the guys were like, yeah, we remember you from the home and garden show, and we just never had something to order, but now we do, and yeah, they got it. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's word of mouth mostly, but yeah.
And do you do a consult with those people where you'll help them identify items for a space, or is that kind of beyond the scope of what you intend?
No, we've done that before. Like people would go like, yeah, I don't know what to do. Yeah, we don't know, and then we would put our heads together and then come up with something. Mm-hmm. But the usually the big wardrobe units and the kitchens, we would full on design for them. Like we'd go in and check the space out, see what there is, and I would work it out. We'd get the shopping list ready for them, pick it up, deliver, assemble, install. Yeah,
it's a huge savings, right? Because that's a barrier for entry for me. One, I'm terrible at patience, for projects like that.
Yeah.
And so just immediately, the overwhelm associated with having to, go there, fight the store battle, get the stuff out, load it, and then bring it home, and then be faced with the biggest battle yet.
Yeah, assembly. Yeah, no, we try and save marriages with that option.
That could be like your biggest marketing piece, right?
Yeah, no, we've played off that, so yeah, it's good. I mean, we've actually had a lot of customers who would contact us and said, listen, we've bought the stuff, it's at our house, but we just cannot. We're not seeing we don't want to assemble it.
Yeah.
Months after they bought it, we're like, okay, cool, we'll come.
Wow.
So yeah.
How are they finding you? Still word of mouth or AdWords on Google?
Yeah, we run some AdWords now and then, and we do some social media stuff that we just boost but still word of mouth. Someone would come, my friend, and a lot of returning customers. Yeah, they were like, oh, we love the service.
The thing about IKEA is they make good quality stuff, right?
I mean, I think there's a few things of them. We've pretty much assembled everything of them.
Yeah.
And I think if some of them are it's flimsy, it's that. But they've got a great return policy. We do returns also, so
wow.
just send it back.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of stuff of Hive and it's great quality. And if there's lots of traffic gonna be don't buy I don't know. I didn't want to buy really expensive stuff. Make it look cool.
Yeah.
If someone trashes it, then replace it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What would you recommend not buying from IKEA based on your background and experience? What you're don't, or from your perspective, maybe this is bad advice because you like going up and.
No. I would advise buying, but through us though.
Yeah. But what are the one or two things where you're like, man, this thing is such trash?
Yeah, there's these, and I've spoken to Ken, my friend, and he's like, dude, that's the first thing everyone buys from IKEA. We should put a thing on our website that you're not allowed to order that. I think it's like a side table thing. It's so flimsy. And
was it the one with the square leg?
Yeah.
They're horrible.
Well, I think it's called Lack or something. Yeah, I don't want to diss IKEA, but that thing is horrible.
It is horrible.
And I think
it's hollow, basically.
Yeah, it's completely hollow, and you can literally walk past it and it'll just break. So
yeah, it's true. You can't move them even once, man.
No. So that's the one. Yeah, that's.
But it's also super cheap too, and so whatever. It serves a purpose. If you're a broke student and you need a bedside table, well,
absolutely,
it'll work.
Yeah.
But no, there's lots of other much better things there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the other things that you get up to, man. So you got these other skills. You talked to me a bit about some photography that you've been doing, some lifestyle stuff. So walk us through that. That was kind of a cool story.
Yeah, photography, I used to do it a lot that was part of what I studied, and that was always since really young I was interested in it. Did a lot of some darkroom photography, shooting on film. It was really cool for me, the whole process, how it works. Mm-hmm. And then I shot a lot of events, I shot weddings, I've done basically a lot of lifestyle stuff before, and videography. but that's more of a pastime hobby. I don't want to get into photography too badly because I think it's going to spoil it for me. But well, that's I don't want, and I want it to be like something that I want to go out to do all the time. Right. And then I basically only have one other hobby, and I'm sort of addicted to that. And it's like cross-country mountain biking. So I ride tons in like summer. That's one of the worst. Pretty much the only bad thing of Canada is like that we don't have a full summer like in South Africa. Because there I can ride like whole year, but yeah, it's a few months off, and then I have to put a hard amount of kilometers in to stay fit. So it's the one bad thing. But yeah, I ride a lot.
Do you go to Fernie, or where do you go?
No, I usually Fernie, and I haven't rode there. I've rode the Crozes Pass and I've rode Waterton. Super scared of bears though. Yeah. Like people are like, yeah, but sharks are more scary. But I'm like, I'd rather swim.
You're traveling fast. You got to have a lot of noise all the time.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, I've ridden all over. I haven't done Fernie and that stuff. I feel it's like a little bit of too much downhill and stuff. Yeah. I like climbing. I like going down also, but climbing is more my thing.
Really?
Cross country, yeah. So and people don't understand that. So
no. Yeah. Is that a cross country thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of climbing in cross country. So
I thought it was just like find a flat chunk of land and just go for it.
No.
That'd be my speed.
No.
I haven't been on a mountain bike since I bailed on a hill in Waterton one time.
Oh yeah. I had a huge crash in Waterton, and it was not of a bear, but I thought it was a bear, but it was a horse. Oh. So the trails there are shared by horses and people, and I just came around the corner like really fast, and then there was a horse in front of me. So I just accidentally pulled both brakes, and then I just shot over. Yeah, it was hard crash.
I was passing my buddy. We were racing down some hill, and I ended up like, catching a bush and then like sliding for like, I don't know, a long time on my elbow. No fun.
Yeah. Crashes are not it's not the fun part of it.
No. So when you're not doing the photography, what are some of the other things that you're getting up to? So you're doing other graphic design for yourself or for clients. You mentioned maybe your brother-in-law. I think you're doing some work for him, right?
No, my brother-in-law, he's back in South Africa. So if I do websites and stuff, and we do like, because I'm not a really big back-end developer or coder, so he's really good at it. So when there's everything, like I would outsource it to him because I just know his work is amazing. So he did a little thing on our courier website where we had like a normal like a CSS format he just styled to look exactly like a website, which I just weren't that too familiar with. So he works, and then I outsource stuff to my cousin back in South Africa. I still work with him, do all these graphic stuff, and then a few guys in town like Bread Milk and Honey downstairs. I do all their stuff. Yeah. So with the new revamp now, I did like the new logo and stuff. It should be coming up soon. So
cool.
Graphic design is what I do. Like probably still the most. I tried to take a break from it for a while, but I just realized like that's my jam. I need to get back to
Is it what you're good at, or what pays the bills?
Well, I think I'm pretty good at it, but yeah, that pays the bills. So
right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So is that where you see future growth at? Do you think?
I would like to. Yeah, I think I can expand that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. And would you intend to do that with collaboration from colleagues at Hive, ideally?
Absolutely. That was one of the big things in the beginning. So I would love to work with. I mean, Lethbridge are such great like media guys and stuff. I would love to work with them. Like, yeah. I mean, it's always better working together than alone, right? So
yeah. Well, you get ideas and you have opportunities for growth, and you hear something, and then you can go research that thing, and big ideas come that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And sometimes big projects too.
Oh yeah, and I mean, what would be better than have the next big app like Uber or whatever being built from Hive? That would be, how amazing would that be? That's the big dream.
The vision
is to say that this was not started in the garage, but it was started at the Hive. So that was the vision.
Was it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. Well, it seems to me that that's kind of a unique approach to gathering awesome brain power, right? More often it's like, I got this buddy, I got that buddy, and we get together for coffees or we go hang out together. But you're approaching it from like this magnetic perspective where it's like, I will build it and they will come.
Yeah.
And then, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would build it, and I would. Yeah. It'll be just cool, like having like doing just collaborating with projects. I mean, it can be small, it can be stuff for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we've done that before. Like I've met this like great videographers there now. In the past few weeks, we're working on a project coming up. We're just gonna do like some promo of it. It's cool. It's like really cool, like meeting. Like I mean, it's so easy these days with social media. Like you follow everyone on Instagram. Oh, cool, and you think like you know this guy. But I met like this guy the other day that I've been following on Instagram. Love his work, and I just like realized like I don't know any of him. Like, and he's such a cool dude. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like with the whole social thing, it's great. Like it's great for companies. It's great for interacting, but it's not really like I feel like you need to interact with each other around the table.
Yeah.
Like, you know, sitting down, like even if you rip out a piece of paper and a pen, just write stuff down. Where people sit up behind the screen and easy to, someone would post a video and like, oh, well, this is horrible. Like it's easy to sit behind the screen,
Yeah.
type nasty words, but
It
would
is.
you say that to someone's face? No.
No.
So, yeah, it's I don't know. Like I love social media, love the whole like tech thing, like I mentioned, but there's still room, I think, for people coming together.
I think
in this
there's
space.
I think there's an increasing appetite for that. I've thought about this lots about how, you know, so much of what we consume is digital now, and because of that we've sacrificed relationships. I think, I mean, so many people don't have the skills to engage that they might have had like a decade ago or 2 decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see clients who are really just in need of like clear advice, face to face, well constructed discussions and well explained, and they can't get that on social media, right? You can't get it online. You can get tons and tons of information, but you can't easily condense it into some meaningful, bite-sized chunk that you can consume, understand, and relates to your individual situation and need. And it's like that too in work, right?
Yeah.
Where, yeah, sure, like, I can sit in my basement and I can go online and take, in all kinds of education and probably learn a really wide variety of skills. I can even go out and get work to apply those. I can get paid in Bitcoin or currency, and I can buy stuff on Amazon and have it dropped outside my door. But I'm never going to be able to relate to another human being and actually fully understand their problems until I can sit down, and have that face-to-face conversation, right? And I think as time goes on and we, convenience ourselves into like higher levels of productivity, we realize more that, we're built to be around people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's like easy. It's easy to get all this information in, but who's gonna help you as an individual, like, get it up? And that, yeah, no, I absolutely agree. But and honestly, I don't want to get Bitcoin right now. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's dropped like, crazy last couple days ago.
Yeah, I think it dropped
Below 4,000.
7,000 to 3,000. It's climbing again, but
is it?
It's yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story about Bitcoin. So my friend Wim and I, if you're watching, he and I have shared many a tear in our beer over this. So it was like about in 2010, we were each gonna spend $2,500 and buy a Bitcoin mining machine.
Oh yeah.
Which, would have been cool, and we would have done fairly well.
Yeah.
Mining was easy back then, profitable based on your power inputs and all that. We kind of got scared, and neither one of us did that. Had we just spent $5,000 buying Bitcoin,
Just get buying.
just go buy some.
Yeah, exactly.
Get yourself a wallet and go buy some Bitcoin for $5,000. I think it worked out to like 13 or 30 million dollars or something at the peak at 10 when it was at 10,000.
When it was really high.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody's got a story like that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I feel exactly the same. And yeah. No. Bitcoin. It's a crazy thing. And I mean, they still mine it. Like, there's the huge mining thing just outside Medicine Hat where they have. I read yesterday the amount of power that place can generate, or what they generate to mine. It's ridiculous.
How are they getting power cheap enough to make it profitable?
I have no idea, but that place is huge.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you sometime.
Servers and servers and servers and.
Oh, it's like outside. There's like cooling towers, and it's ridiculous.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I want to know more about that.
Yeah, no, but mining is, you can't mine. I don't think you can mine. I mean, the other day I built a custom PC and the graphics cards were just like through the roof. That and the memory went like ridiculous because, I mean, you use like the top of the range graphic cards to mine.
Yeah.
And luckily they came down again. So
Yeah.
because it was a fad, like a phase.
Right.
Well, it's crazy. It's all Bitcoin mine, but yeah, I think it's coming down. I don't know. Hopefully it grows again. It's a cool thing, though.
It is a cool
Yeah.
thing. Who knows what that's going to mean? Yeah, blockchain's obviously going to be like a bigger thing. We're starting to see it being used in the real estate space now.
Oh yeah.
We'll see it used in accounting and banking and all that stuff eventually. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's cool tech.
Yeah.
So you need some people to come in. I'm always curious about like how our community can support the business owners that I'm interviewing. So you want, first of all, people to just come check the space out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I open the doors for anyone who just wants to come check it out.
Yeah.
Even if you want to sit it for a little bit, check it out, see
Yeah.
how the vibe is, give me some feedback. So and then
We went up there and shot some video. We shot like a whole kind of commercial segment almost.
Mm-hmm.
With the architecture there, it's just super like chic and modern, and there's a lot of different kind of looks and feels depending on where in the space that you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the natural light there is kind of, I don't know, second to none really as far as a place like that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very bad. I work in metrics. I don't have feet and stuff, but like the windows are, well, I don't know, 3-4 meters high. More maybe you would know how many feet, how big is it?
Meters? So they're 10 feet? Yeah, I guess that sounds about right.
Yeah, like
10 feet.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a ton of them.
Because your ceilings are 14 or so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, they're all 10 feet for sure, and like 3 feet wide or so. And there's, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, something like that.
Well, 8 against that long wall. So.
Is there?
Yeah,
Just
it's
against
like there's 2 in the small office, but yeah, I mean the light's amazing.
Yeah.
I being like in photography, I love light, so
Yeah.
especially like there was someone who came check the space out now just when at sunset, and the golden light just came through that boardroom window and it shot like across everything, so it was amazing.
You know, there's so many cool things about that building. I'm sad to be leaving. We need to for space purposes, but the vibe there is super cool. Like with Bread, Milk, and Honey downstairs, it makes it a perfect place for your business to be. And then what do you do on your lunch break? You go next door to Inspire Hot Yoga. I took a yoga class on Sunday.
Oh yeah, you did?
Yeah, it was really good. It was my first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Have you been to one?
No, he's been trying to get me there, but...
Have you ever been to a yoga class before?
No, never.
You're a healthy guy. You should go try it. It's not terrible.
One day. I'll have to, maybe a couple of beers before I go, but...
I thought it was going to be like more strange.
Okay.
But it wasn't strange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just hung out at the back, and it was like a long stretching class, basically.
Yeah.
Which is good for me. I need to stretch lots.
My wife went to a lot of yoga. She said it's not. I think it's weird, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That building is becoming like with all the renovation. I mean, it's going to be like pretty much brand new building, and then the guys at the back is doing an amazing job.
Yeah, I've heard about that. What's his business called?
That's called. It's Rob and.
I've met them only like once or twice.
Yeah, they're from Prairie Source Trading, so they trade grain. But I mean, they've taken that back space, in my opinion, a little bit of a dump, and they've gutted it. They've even their brick wall was painted, and they even went through all the trouble of sandblasting all the brick walls, and it looks like the brick wall in my space, and they're redoing. You should go in there; you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of run down, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like I mean, it was
piecemeal together.
Yeah, like a puzzle put together and stuff. But they've redone everything, and it's coming along great.
Are they using that adjacent space with the kind of shelving or whatever around it?
Where the walk was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all ripped out, but they've made it one big space.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I gotta go check it out.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. They did a great job.
Yeah.
It's not all done yet, but I think they're moving in like a week or so.
Yeah.
The building is going to be super cool.
That whole building has like community, man. Mm-hmm. It's a really good space.
Yeah, and I would love to for the guys working in the coffee shops and stuff, I would invite them all up. Please come just check it out, even if you just it's way quieter up there.
Oh yeah.
Because the vibe is great, but it's pretty loud.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you can get a point because you're sitting in the coffee shop, you get your coffee, just take it upstairs.
Just take it upstairs. I mean, we've got such a good relationship with Michael downstairs. He's more like you take your cup up. I'll take it down for you. Just come up.
We take us next door.
Yeah, absolutely. He's and we've worked it out before. If you sit downstairs, drink 2 or 3 coffees, that's what you can bring your coffee up and basically have the same price. Because you're not going to drink 3 if you're upstairs. You're going to drink 1 or 2, but your price is going to stay the same. So
Well, and I think you'll keep coming back because it's nice to be able to see the vibe of a cafe. But if you're actually going to do some work,
No, I've had guys in there that come in and they sit and they would tell me dude, I've been here 3 hours. I've done more than last week. The just sitting down, because there's people to talk to, but it's also a little bit different than
Yeah.
just the noise and distraction and stuff. And working from home, I mean, I've worked in a big office space. I've worked at home. I've worked at coffee shops.
Yeah.
And like there isn't, you have to, like, you can't get work done at your house.
Yeah.
I feel like. So
No, you got everything else that you need to get done around your house. And if you're
And
like
distractions,
procrastinating on like a project that you've been dreading for a while,
Yeah,
man,
exactly,
like
yeah.
anything else is better.
Yeah, for sure. So
But
yeah, I mean, and being like in a vibe where there's creative people around you or
Yeah.
like-minded guys, it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
And people can book that awesome boardroom. They can book an office. They can book, regularly. They can take a monthly out, right?
Yeah, or
It's all
like,
very
yeah, we've
affordable.
got like, I mean, hourly rates is $5 an hour, and then it caps up to, so when you reach 4 hours, it stops at 20. So if you stay 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, it'll always stay 20. And we are 7 to 10 at the moment, 7 in the morning, 10 in the evening, and we're probably going to just do 24/7 because the whole space is app-based. You can just unlock it with your phone, come in
Right.
whenever you want. And then we've got a 10-day pass where it's like a punch card. You buy 10 days and you come in 10 days,
Yeah.
whenever you want. It doesn't need to be in a month or whatever.
Right.
And then a monthly, where you can
Yeah.
come and go as much as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's a very common business model in larger centers. Like there are entire real estate brokerages, international real estate brokerages that have no bricks and mortar spaces, but they have contracts with companies like yours, where they say, okay, a real estate agent in this market gets unlimited use of a co-working space like yours.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from Cape Town, where I'm from, and bigger cities, like I know Calgary has a few, in San Francisco, and all the startup places. It's like such a common thing.
Mm-hmm.
No one rents an office anymore. Why would you want overhead? Why do you want, if something breaks? Well, you don't have to worry about that. You pay your
Slow
monthly.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Who wants that? No one. Everyone's using it because they don't have any problems. It's like I'm paying a monthly rate. I'm in and out whenever I can.
Mhm.
Got super high speed internet. I can do this. I can have a cafe downstairs or wherever. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know a big company called WeWork. It's the guys who started biggest co-working thing in the world. And they started like doing big office floor spaces where they would just rent companies like pieces of that big floor.
Yeah.
And they're like billions of dollars company at the
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a different model, but it's still a co-working space. So,
Sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hear lots of people that come down from places like Calgary. They come down to do a consulting gig for Alberta Health Services or one of the school boards or something, and they need a place to call home, to spread out, to do some work when they're here. And then what are you going to do for the 3 or 4 months? Go rent an office space somewhere?
Yeah, and like
No.
sign a lease and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So yeah, that's I mean, and like I said, it's not people. I think I have a feeling where people think, oh, it's just for designers, it's just for photographers. No, it's not. Anyone.
No, it's like for us, I mean, it's like the perfect solution. We get to have access to a boardroom, cool open space, Wi-Fi, collaborations,
Yeah.
and we're realtors, right? But what do we need? We need a place to go where it's quiet, where we can bring a client periodically, just sit and have a desk and do some work. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Mhm.
which is pretty much kind of the same as most people, right?
Yeah, no, true.
Yeah, cool. So tell me what else is coming out. So you get this on the go. You're scaling that. You're growing Courier. Is that your singular focus at the moment, or do you have other things on the horizon that you intend on growing?
No, for the moment, I'm really trying to focus on Hive. It's my main focus at the moment. That and the graphic design, and help where I can with Courier. But for now, that's the three main things I want to focus on. I don't think I should.
It's a lot.
Yeah, grab another one. So
No.
yeah, Hive would be my main focus for now. But then, obviously, with the graphic design, it works hand in hand with that. So
Yeah.
that's.
So one of the things I like to do with our audience is talk a little bit about the entrepreneurial journey and just get a little bit deeper on like why these things. I'm trying to picture back in the time where you and Ken and Dalen are sitting around having a conversation about a business model. A lot of our viewers are entrepreneurs, and they came to make a decision to step off of the employment train and get onto the entrepreneurial train. And I think yours is kind of a unique situation where you're like strategically just knew that you wanted to do business with these 3 people,
Mhm.
but you had no idea what
Yeah.
you wanted to do.
Yeah. So we sat around and then bouncing ideas off each other, and we always came back to the one that was that idea, which sounded like a great idea because it's something that doesn't really exist, and it's something new, and it's so we always came back to that. But with the other stuff, I think I was thrown into the deep end, being like I don't know, like I've been too long with that company. I moved away to other companies where I was like really unhappy, moved back, and I just came to this point in my life where I was like, geez, I can't like keep doing this. I have to go, like I can't like do what I work for myself, and it's scary. It's like there's no income that's steady.
Yeah.
And you need to work, like if you don't, like there's no one, like yeah, your friends and stuff can help you, but it's not their problem, it's your problem now. So you gotta go out and get those jobs in to get the money in. And but like the courier, like you said, it was bouncing ideas off. We had weird stuff going on, honestly, like that we thought of. But we always came back to like, yeah, this is actually a thing that people will use.
Yeah.
And also, like, you think when you start off, I always go to this thing where people watch, what's that Facebook movie called, The Social Network?
Oh, yeah.
They watch the movie and they're like, go out and they're all determined, like, oh, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna design the new biggest app in the world.
The next $1 billion.
Yeah, and then they go and then they can't get it, like they don't know why does it not work. I mean, Facebook worked in a month.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Like they built that app, like every big app. Like if I listen to a lot about how I built this podcast, and if you hear the struggles people go through there, it's years and years and months. It always sounds like an instant thing because you only hear of it at the end.
It's true.
Like I mean, Courier, we started it and we thought, oh, we were just thinking of all the problems we're going to face if we have too many orders. I mean, what a great problem to have.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that when we get there. That's what I've realized in this whole process.
Yeah.
Like I had like all these stresses from Hive, like what am I going to do if the place is like completely full, or like how am I going to show people away? I mean, that's honestly like a great problem to have when you get there. So, but I've come to the realization like that kind of stuff you deal when you have that problem.
Yeah. Because
it's a great problem to have. And
you're visualizing that problem.
Yeah, so you're like, just leave that stuff. So we were like with Courier, like I was like, oh, what are we gonna do? And it started off really slow.
Yeah.
Like we would get in, like I think after like launching the company, we had like an order after like only a week or something. And we were like, oh yes, we got the first, and then it like died down, and then it picked up a little bit and died down, and now a year, like we're more than a year in, and it's now only like really steady. So it takes time. It's like one of those things in life. It's just you can't rush it.
It's true though. Don't you find though, like, I think entrepreneurs in their nature are kind of impatient.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And so on the one hand, you know, you're like, okay, where's this, like, you know, where's my $1 billion company? I just started it, right?
Exactly.
But at the same time, you know, I think successful entrepreneurs have like a healthy dose of patience. It seems strange to say that, but like, you know, you have the expectation that this thing's going to work. You expect it to work immediately, but you're also committed to the grind of being able to deliver each day the things that business needs for success, and being patient over the long term. And I love what you said about people saying, you know, that was like an overnight success. I literally just yesterday was looking at a really cool infographic that had like a person kind of at the top of a massive hill climb with like tons of like obstacles on it, and then somebody at the bottom saying, well, that, you know, look at this overnight success.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
No, it was like 10 years of grinding, like tears,
oh, absolutely,
near bankruptcy, borrowing money, you know, like all these things that people don't know about and nobody wants to talk about because they're ugly, like stuff that you like cry to your wife about.
And you're sort of like ashamed about it. But
yeah.
I mean, that's part of it. It's like there's like great if you have if you want an overnight success, go buy a lot of tickets. That's great. Like honestly, like, and then wait your chances. But then you're also going to probably wait another 10 years. So.
I had well, I shouldn't say I had a conversation. I saw a video of my friend Pat Hyban. He did one yesterday, and he and I were in an accountability group together, and he was, you know, talking about an investment that he had made, and it was pretty substantial, the investment, and he's made a number of investments. He's a successful guy, kind of semi-retired from real estate, and runs a really good podcast, incidentally, called the Pat Hyban interviews real estate rock stars. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so he's like, listen guys, I've had all these, you know, failures and I never talk about them, and here's one near failure, you know, that I want to tell you about, and I'll tell you how it turned around. And then he went on to say a bunch more. So he had invested like let's say it was $100,000 into this company, it was a weed company. They were developing patents for how to squeeze some medicine out of weed.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed good. And then he got a phone call one like Thanksgiving saying like, hey, thanks for your investment, but you know what? We're about a month before we're out of cash.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's set to lose $100,000, which is a lot of money to him and anybody, right?
Yeah.
And he had made some other bad investments around that time that he had kind of told us about. And, stroke of luck, somebody came in, bailed the company out, gave them a check for $1 million, bought them 3 more months. They had one of their patents approved, one out of I think it was 1,000 patents that they had applied for.
Wow.
One hit, and then they did hit the lotto. Weed.com bought them. They're on the TSX. They're a Canadian company that paid $25 million for this little company that Pat invested in, and he 10x'd his money. And so if you just saw Pat's Facebook post to the public,
mm-hmm.
you'd see like, wow, I hit the jackpot, man. You wouldn't hear like the 3 other stories where he invested like $100,000 here, 50 there, lost it all. He didn't like 10 times all of his investments. Like he's basically made like $200,000 on like $1 million worth of risk over the span of like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody hears or sees those stories any more than they hear or see all the stories of my struggles or your struggles. And I think it's important that you say stuff like that I say stuff like that man, it is a grind. Like there's going to be tons of days where you're broke. There's going to be tons of days where you're like, am I seriously still doing this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, and Kenny always tells us, like, dude, remember, you're playing the long game. This is not. I don't think any entrepreneur or your own business that you're doing is like a short game thing. If you're not invested in it for the long game, and I mean, there's days where you get to like, what, I'm sick and tired of this. It's what's not working, whatever.
Yeah.
And just think of the end spot. Yeah.
My thing is, I just think of like, hey, generally I love what I do. Generally I love the people that I'm around. And if I'm having a bad day, like I was telling you yesterday, like it was windy and I was cranky all day long, and not my best day, not my best performance. But you know what? You wake up the next day, ask yourself like, where am I at in my life? Who do I want to be? Where do I want to take these things? And who do I have to be to get there? You can even have a second bad day or a third bad day, even a couple bad weeks. But ultimately, if that goes on and on and on, maybe eventually in a couple days.
Stories, but just that saying it's wanting it to.
And that's the kind of culture that I think you're trying to create where you're at, because when you're balled up and you're not able to talk to people about the issues that you either have with them or the problems that you're trying to solve, that they're barriers to. We hold resentment, we hold anger, and those things have physiological impacts that like are proven to shorten our lives. We end up angry, we end up filled with cortisol, you end up with health problems down the road. And so, you could be like on the frontier of solving like, health problems, man, by creating a co-working space.
Oh, I don't want to put that on my resume, honestly, but it would be great though.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's good for your health having people around you like that are like-minded and that share those things and those kind of conversations that I think would be open in that environment. They're healthy, and that's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Hey, man, so I always finish out the show by asking my guests to share a little bit of their wisdom with potential viewers. So, looking back on the younger version of you, the kind of more junior entrepreneur than you, what bits of wisdom would you share with somebody that may be at that place today?
Well, I would say, and it's such a cliche. I don't even know if there's a Canadian word that they use.
It is.
If you really want to do it, just do it. It's everyone just says like grab that opportunity, use it. But also if you're in a situation like my whole life or working at life, I've learned so many. Like you at that moment you think like, why is he asking me to do this? It's not my job. It's not my job. I'm not getting paid extra for this. Why should I do it? Or hire someone to do that for you. Just do it. Learn it. One day in your life, you're going to be able to use that skill. Even if it's a small thing. Like I said, I only worked at a vinyl place for 3 months. I can if you put a vinyl cutter there, I can cut it. That's a skill someone wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
So, try and not be so I don't want to do it because it's not my job. Blah blah blah. Do it. it'll all add up to at the end, and it will be skills that no one else can teach you. And that's
Dude,
pretty much.
that's powerful. I relate to that. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I had a job as a kid in a summer, and I remember I stayed up all night drinking. I'm just going to be honest, and I went to work the next day so hungover. Okay, and it was I was working on like a road crew, pretty slack jobs. A lot of times we'd have to paint, snow plows or whatever.
Oh, okay.
This particular day, my boss needed me to go into a culvert under a road and with my hands in about 2 feet of water, dig out a beaver dam.
Oh yeah.
And it was one of those days where I was asking myself, like, why me? Right? But why me? Because it built fortitude. I didn't argue with the guy. I just got in there and I did the work. And to this day, I'm proud that I did that.
Yeah.
You know, and when you said that, I reminded myself, okay, I have a story to share. And I think it just built character, you know.
Yeah.
And those crappy jobs, like you shared with me about how you were working these mad hours for this guy who was asking you to do crazy things that you had no skills doing. You're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna learn this.
Yeah, because like I mean, if he wasn't gonna push you, or someone's not pushing you, then you won't do it by yourself. It will be like, oh, I'm gonna learn it one day. I'll learn it one day. I mean,
no, you're gonna learn it right now tonight because somebody needs you.
To do that, and I mean, you will be able now to. I don't know what you clean a beaver hole. You'll be able to do that now, right?
Don't call me for that.
well,
you do get some strange requests as a realtor. I haven't had that one yet.
Oh, well, you know how to do it yourself, don't you?
Okay, Dries, thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for inviting me.
It was a
Thanks
pleasure
so much.
chatting with you. And if you have the opportunity, please check out the Hive co-working space. It's just above my office at 427 5th Street South. Come this Saturday if you want to check it out. Bring a gift or a monetary donation. You can bring a bit of food for charity, okay? That's at this guy's place. So thanks again, Dries.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, cheers.